I've been looking for some time for a mic to go on top of my camera to use for run and gun shooting, and the problem with run and gun shooting is that if you're in a house, the conditions are totally different to when you're outside, and my front room, kitchen are all terrible for sound. So when I bring a shotgun indoors or a supercardioid like this one, the sound of the room can really affect how it sounds. I need something that can work in conditions like this and then also take it outside, and it works really well out there. So what I've been doing so far is to use a microphone on top of there with a preamp where I can up and down the gain from the preamp rather than go into the menu settings on the camera, which is a lot easier, and just keep an eye on that that meter on the screen there to make sure that I'm not over modulating. Now the microphone I'm using now has its own gain control on the back. Unlike the VideoMic Pro Plus, which sets either to 0 or 20, this one can be altered between 0 and 20 in smooth graduation, so that it means you can get that audio smack on where you want it. So at the moment the microphone is 3 feet away from me indoors in a room that is really not good for sound. Even by ear I can tell that it's not good. I've got a big window on one side, a bare wall on the back, a bare wall on the side, and a bare wall behind me. So lots of reflections going on in this room. And the one thing about supercardioids is they can pick up a little bit more from the back end, which means the reflections from the back wall could really enter the front sound with the front sound as well at the same time, altering the tone of the microphone indoors. And this is the problem that I've had with most supercardioids. So this is yet another test to see if this supercardioid can outperform some of the other options that I currently have. So at the moment I'm in front of the microphone 3 feet away, and it's on top of the camera with no preamp in line. It's going directly into my camera. So probably hiss is being caused maybe by the camera preamp, which I know isn't that great, but I've raised the gain of the microphone as high as I dare to make sure that the gain on the camera can be set to low. So this is the sound indoors, this is in front. Now I'm just going to go around the other side so you can hear how it alters, how the tone of the microphone might alter depending on where you are. So this is the sound 3 feet in front of the microphone. This is the sound of the microphone 3 feet to the side. And if I go around the back here, this is the sound of the microphone 3 feet from the back. So I don't know if you can hear any tonal differences there. I'm coming round to the side and I'm now coming round to the front again. But those tonal characteristics that you might have heard when I was at the side and behind the microphone could well mix in via the reflections from the back and side walls into the front sound, which can then affect the way that the microphone sounds indoors. It doesn't always give a great picture of a microphone, especially in this room. This is a ridiculous example where I'm now using the microphone in a bathroom, and this is extremely echoey. I'm about 2 feet away from the microphone. The reverberation in here is quite gigantic, and how much of the microphone is picking that up I don't know, but there's a lot there. I've got the high pass filter switched in. So now what I've done is I've taken the high pass filter off, so you've got the full range now, and some of these reverberations to my ear sound quite low, so the microphone may well be now picking up a lot of low information, but you wouldn't ever use it in a place like this. But this is the worst scenario. But for supposing, for instance, you go to a church and you're recording in there, you may well go into small echoey rooms and places like this, and this is how the mic would deal with that kind of situation. Okay, now I'm outdoors. Now, English weather in the winter is particularly rubbish, so I've just dashed out here in between bits of rain or whatever. It's a bit cold and also actually quite dark. But this is the sound of the microphone from about 4 feet away, I would say, about 4 feet away. If I go around to the side, about 4 feet away, this is the sound of the microphone from the side 4 feet away. And I can't get to the back without, let's get to the back. And this is the sound of the microphone from the back 4 feet away. I've got birds chucking around here and all sorts of noises going on. But quite a lot of traffic noise coming from over the back end this way, so I'm kind of it's kind of in front of the microphone, but this is the kind of sound that you're going to expect outdoors in a vlogging type of situation, which we're also commonly in. There's a very slight breeze and I'm only using the foam windscreen, and so if there's any wind noise coming through, that's how it would respond. I have found that the Rode VideoMic Pro Dead Cat does fit this microphone, so if you want one, it's expensive, but it does actually work and it fits, which is good news. So I'm going to try a really stupid long distance test now. Now at the moment there is a hell of a breeze coming in from the back of me, so it's blowing straight onto the front of the microphone. Over the back here it's a beautiful view from my house and from my gardens, and we have the North Downs, and from the North Downs we do get a little bit of wind sometimes, which can be quite ferocious. So it's a bit windy, in all honesty. So I'll see how this works, and if it's not working too well, then I'll leave it off the video because the weather's just not right today, and we may even have some snow coming. So I'm going to try the long distance test. It is actually quite a lot of noise coming from the back here, so it may well be mixed in with my audio at the moment quite strongly. Some lorries are going past and all sorts of noises, plus the birds. And as I get closer, that's the sound of the microphone. But the nice thing about vlogging and all this sort of thing, if you've got a lot of noise around the place, there's nothing to stop you making a vlog in a situation like this where you're talking quite close to the microphone, so therefore the noise in the background can be really brought down. The wind here is a bit of a problem at the moment. Got a plane going over as well, but that's the sound of this microphone outdoors at crazy long distances. I'm sure that you already are aware of the details of this microphone if you've got onto my video to have a look to see how it performs. It supposedly has a frequency response from 20 to 20, so it's a full range response, so it says. It's pretty flat looking on the graph actually. It has a gain control on the back, as we all know, and it also has a high pass filter, and the high pass filter basically works on two frequencies. So I'm going to try now the high pass filter. So if I switch it in now, we get to this thing, and I've now got 75. I've got the 75 hertz switch in. Possibly not a lot of difference on my voice. Maybe a little bit of difference on reflections, that boomy sort of feel about the sound. It may have taken that down. That's with 75, and is very useful for outdoors when you get wind and rumbles and noises, so that the voice is still coming through relatively normally. Now there is another high pass filter on it as well, higher up, so let's try that. And now, oh, I don't know what the frequency is. It's 150, quite high. Now the effect on my voice at 150 might be quite large. My voice might have gone a little bit thinner sounding, but again it may help indoors. So those filters are very useful, and they're built in on the microphone. So we have gain and high pass filters already built in. Really nice to use on the go. So there you go. That's the sound of the D3 Pro, and it's not a particularly cheap microphone, but I can see it as a good replacement for the Rode actually. If you like my videos, please subscribe. I'd like more than 3 to watch if possible. Cheers for now.